Yeah. Yeah, certainly it raises some ethical issues. Yes, especially as we don't know, or in natural fact, let's just say once the accident happened, so we know the accident happened. So for him to have gone to Parliament, I see, yeah, it was quite dangerous. Because if you look at the previous president, Honorable Kum, Kojo
The
Kum,
former chief
yeah, they
minister.
drove him to Parliament in an ambulance, right? And the
Indeed.
speaker sent people to go check. So maybe the MP should have made his way to the hospital first. Then if he thought he was that well, he would call Parliament. Then they would come do that verification, or they would wait so that at least he would be given
We have a clinic in Parliament.
So perfect. So when he came, then he would go seek medical help first. So, Honorable, are you aware that that's what he did first?
I don't know, we're in the chamber.
That's the thing.
But there's a clinic, and
At that time, the clinic is closed.
usually closed. But,
You see?
Closed.
Yeah, so
but
looking
usually
at
the
it,
last day, everybody stays around. I don't know if the clinic was closed, but...
if you look at it practically, you should have sought medical help first, because the first human instinct is self-preservation. Get to a hospital, get medical attention, you are stabilized, or even if it's not that you're stabilized, you don't need to be stabilized, they will check to be sure that everything is okay, and then you could do the vote. Because obviously, to the extent that it was very, very critical, once word got to speaker that the MP had been taken to hospital and all that, I'm sure the majority would lobby that let's give some time so that the MP could come, or, those kind of things. So straight away, this one, I think he should have been making his way to the hospital first. Well, but at least, thank God, so far, it wasn't that he was in a life-threatening condition and all that. So maybe we can leave it at that. But he certainly had to have gone to hospital first, and then the rest will be taken care of.
The fundamental issue is the impact of these taxes. Is it
Yes,
not?
yes.
What happened?
Yeah, so, and you see, I don't know, these are democracy. That's the crux of the matter. Throughout the week, I heard Mr. David Ampofo, is it
The
Chamber
upstream,
Chamber of Upstream Petroleum Companies, right? So they said the tax would increase one of the bills. So we are talking about 3 taxes now, right? There's a growth and sustainability
We'll put that
bill.
on the screen.
Then there's the income tax amendment bill. Then there's the excise duty law. So 3 of them. And then there's the revenue administration. It has to do with administration. So we'll leave that out. So 4 laws, but 3 going to increase cost of living for us. Yes, so looking at it, people have complained. So I heard Mr. Ampofo complain that it was going to affect upstream petroleum companies. The excise duty one was going to affect the beverage producers, right? Yes, and then the income tax. People made noise and noise and noise. But I think in all of this, we don't seem to appreciate that the way the government is very insensitive to our cost of living crisis. We need to come together to fight. So you see this one fighting in its own corner small. Already the numbers are down or very low. Not enough people are fighting. And then secondly, they are not coming together. Because as I said, when I heard Mr. Ampofo 2-3 times, I was it. Then I tuned in the next day to another station. Then I heard the beverage producers. And then then I also heard about the growth and sustainability deal. I'm sure.
In fact, we have the Association of Ghana Industries, AGI, Chona Makwelo. You'll hear from him as we go on.
So look, is it now AGI? You have so many, members. You see, often the CEOs in Ghana, they won't fight. Often because their lifestyles are better. That's a problem. So you see that if you go, nowadays I like to talk every day about Plato's Republic. I like to refer to that book because it tells you that society, generally, when it comes to democracy, we haven't changed much. All these problems were there. Even when Plato wrote the Republic, where he was recording a lot of conversations that Socrates had with other people, Thrasymachus and all those Polemachus and all the characters. So you read Plato's Republic, you look at Ghana today, you still see the democracy and see the same problems. You have CEOs, lots of companies in Ghana. Those that are affected, what prevented them from coming together? I understand they even have an association, yet they weren't fighting much because, like you rightly said, they would pass this cost on to the final consumer. When we're already suffocating, Because, since the last year, the beginning, the cost of living crisis, when we were booted out of the international capital market, and then the CD fell, inflation went up over 54%. Now it's come down marginally down, but the prices haven't come down. You see that thing? And yet, we just will not fight. The people who can fight most will not fight because they have better standards of living. Meanwhile, they forget that they also have relations in the villages. Yeah, you can be a CEO of your company, you make all the money, everything. But as long as your people in the village and even those who are not even your family members, the guys in the streets selling the dog chains and the rest. Look, when this discontent continues, somebody wrote somewhere that he's never seen a society where people have stomached the discontent forever. No, one day to blow up. Then you in your V8 in traffic, you also be affected. Because I don't get it. You find big companies, people who should fight. Everybody's just scared. They will target my company. So who should, we are talking here, yes, we are also suffering it. Everybody must pay a price. You talk to some of the CEOs, hey, is it my matter? No, they will target my company. So can you imagine if all the CEOs in Ghana were to come together at a press conference, over 100 of you, who are they going to target? Who are they going to target? And sometimes I wonder how Kwame Nkrumah made it. Yeah, because I'm like, this society, the way everybody, people don't want to fight, not enough people. I'm like, so how did Kwame Nkrumah really make it? Yeah, because you see people look at Vomawo. Recently, that's the way I've been looking at it. I'm like, Oliver came and fought. You see the e-levy and all the problems. When he got trouble, we didn't give much support. Now he goes to court alone, he and his lawyer. I see that every time I see them in court, I'm like, wow, this our society is weak. Even as lawyers, privately, even if not the bar association, how much have we reached out to support him? What the guy was saying is true. This e-levy matters. What he was saying, hey, we should get up and fight. We didn't fight. Hasn't it come to affect all of us? Then you look at the domestic bond exchange program. You see? Now, you ask our members, they'll tell you, some of the monies have not been paid. Delay upon delay. Every day on the WhatsApp, you see members crying because they've not been paid their coupons, their maturities, etc. Everybody is filling into their pockets now. Meanwhile, we all know that President Kufuor promised us what? Milk and honey. I'm moving from what? Nuisance taxes to production. Yes, from taxation to production. Today, do you see that he was even the one launching some electronic platform for us to collect more taxes? I thought he would have said, since I came in to diversify the economy, I've since helped the youth to create maybe 50,000 acre farm to produce rice. You don't have such practical examples. Now you have Baumia rather coming to launch for electronic VAT and all those things to be taken, championing more taxation. When about 6.5 years ago, he was championing what? Production. When I saw it, yesterday's newspaper, I wanted to bring it. I mean, it was just laughable. I was like, oh, yeah? Yeah? The architect of taxation to production has done a U-turn and is now gone from production to what? Taxation. To tax us. So please, this impact, it's not yet late. You remember the VAT thing. Yeah, when they got up Kumi Preko and made noise that time, yeah, it was withdrawn. So though it's been passed, the president is here to sign. So it's not yet late. If only Ghanaians will come together, we need to come together and fight it. So the CEOs of the companies, they shouldn't think that because they can pass on to us, then that means that they can just, these beverages and everything. No. And the growth and sustainability one, the banks and all that.
Yes.
See, you own shares in the bank. Yes, now they'll pay that tax before profit. So it's going to affect you on ultimately. They'll come and say there's no money to pay what? Dividends. Because it's going to reduce the dividend. Already, the domestic debt exchange program is going to reduce dividends. Then now you are adding this tax. And then the food, beverages, we are going to suffer. So everywhere. So the government is just putting its hands in our pockets and just taking out money, willy-nilly. Meanwhile, in the process, President Kufuor and Ofori-Atta, that the hundreds of millions of cedis that they made from the bonds, that one is untouchable. It's untouchable. You have made hundreds of millions from the bonds. Ofori-Atta, the fees and commissions through Databank. And of course, Ofori-Atta being the president's brother, I don't use cousin because in account there's no word for cousin, it's brother. Yes, ask account, they will tell you there's no word for cousin. So that's the president's family. That's become very super rich. They are not touching that money. They are rather coming to tax us more. The first thing Ofori-Atta should have done is that he will return the money, all of the money, or at least you say, okay, let me retain 20% because we've spent it. I want to return 80% to the public chest. Then you see how we'll get up and we'll even do more. You see, sometimes it's symbolic. You may say, oh, how much is 200 million Ghana or what? Of course, it's a lot more than that. But even if, let's say, they were to return just about 200 million Ghana, then you change the psyche of the people because then you are showing the way to what? Cost sharing, burden sharing, you see. So every time Ofori-Atta gets up, he says, oh, yeah, at this time you must help the nation. I'm like, master, you've made hundreds of millions, apart from Databank, Enterprise. Enterprise has taken a lot of business from SIC. And that one I told you, look, go interview Enterprise. SIC, the state insurance company. Lots of their business is going to Enterprise because to do government business, you need guarantees and insurance policies from Enterprise, Ofori-Atta's company.
We'll need to check that.
Yes, please, it's open. It's open. I'm not running. You see, I've said it a number of times here. I haven't seen anybody taking me on. If we can go to court, you can always sue or defend it. Nobody's going to take. It's public. It's an open secret. SIC people, they are always crying because large chunk of their business is gone to Enterprise. Because Minister of Finance, contractors, all that, you need insurance, you need guarantee. Ask the business with the same business people who will not fight. You need Enterprise. Without Enterprise, they won't, your contract won't go through. You see, so having made money all this while, then you remember the last I mentioned, Lands Commission, even they were going to take away collection of regularization fees. Yeah, Databank, the group, they were going to take that business away. The workers had to get up and fight. And then for now, it's gone a bit quiet. But I understand they may go back. The Lands Commission people, they have to get up and fight again. Because I'm beginning to understand that there are attempts to revive that transaction again so that the Databank Group, one of their companies, would, the Enterprise Group, one of the companies would be in charge of collecting fees on behalf of government. Then they will make money. What kind of country is this? So the point I'm making is that all of our money is going to Ofori-Atta and President Kufuor, and we are quiet. That this topic can never go away because Kufuor said that if you want to make money, go to the private sector. So is it the case that he intended to just deceive people to leave the government sector, then his family will take over everything? Yes, because that's what it means. It says if you want to make money, go to the private sector. Now, what is the scorecard? The scorecard is that the Databank Enterprise Group, through Databank and Enterprise Insurance, they've taken a lot of government contracts, and his family has become very rich. So when he said go to the private sector, it was an attempt to deceive people to look the other way. Then they will amass everything for themselves. And I'm saying that we have to get up to fight this. It's not late. So these laws that have been passed, we are open. The CEOs of these companies should do a press conference, invite all Ghanaians. Let's roll up a program and demonstrate. I'm sure the president would then refuse to assent to the bills. And by law, Article 106 of the Constitution, if the president doesn't sign, it will not become law. And if he doesn't sign, though we know theoretically in the same law, Parliament by two-thirds majority can overturn the president's veto. It won't happen because you see that the members of Parliament, they won't even be happy. The only reason they're doing it is because if they don't, the party can sponsor other candidates to get them out of office. So they are really not happy. Ask Honorable Mama. I'm sure even Honorable Titus Glover, who is MPP, he knows it because he also feels it. Because that was the same thing you were saying, that you get money and it goes to the constituents. So we need to stand up. What we need to do is that government must cut down expenditure. That is the elephant in the room. When we went to do the domestic debt exchange program negotiations, Ofori-Atta set up a technical committee. We went in there and we showed government, cut down the numbers, cut down. So we are coming to the number of appointees at the office of the president. You see that it's increased. The political appointees have increased. Yeah?
From a little over 330 to 360.
361.
361.
361. And then the other people, the public servants and all those things, if you put together, so 1,048. Last year, the last time the report came out, it was 998, just too shy of 1,000. But this year, when you add, you get 1,048. So there's an increase. And this again, we are quiet. And why do we do that? So I was making the point about the elephant in the room being cut down expenditure.
Okay.
Cut down. So we need a new Appropriations Act. You see Ofuriata going around begging China and all the countries to, reduce our debt or resettle and the rest. But we need to also show them in good faith. That's how come, you remember last week, we were bemoaning the approval of the 6 ministers and deputy ministers, right? Yeah, because we've not followed what the German ambassador said. The German ambassador told President Kufuor that cut down your number of ministers because Ghana, smaller country, poorer country, we have more than Germany has. The president didn't mind. And so you even read here where this Ofuriata, on his return from China, he's saying, yes, it's going well. The European Union is behind Ghana and all that. How are they behind us? When the German ambassador, Germany is the biggest in the European Union in terms of the economy, blah, blah, blah. When they've told us expressly that we should cut down our numbers, how do you say they are behind us? When I read it, I was like, Then the German ambassador said that we should cut down. So since when have they backed down from that request or that demand?